starting with the Warlock, found an average of a $43,000 MSRP and a $39,000 selling price. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the payments on a new Ram truck. Now, I am going to be focusing on half tons because it's what most buyers end up purchasing, but I will be talking a little bit about heavy duties as well. But before we get into the payments on the different packages with the Ram 1500s, let's talk about the different packages and just do like a very brief, basic overview of each package. You guys know what they contain basically, or not really what they contain, but what they're all about. And then we'll get into the payments. So with all that being said, let's just get straight into the video. Now, the first package is going to be the Classic Edition trucks, and that's kind of like the entry-level package. Now, this is pretty much just the Warlock package now, and I've called the Warlock in the past an amalgamation of parts because it has the Rebel bumpers, but then it has Bighorn wheels, and then it kind of has more of like a basic cloth interior, and so it's just a bunch of different parts from a bunch of different trucks kind of all mixed together. And this, again, is kind of the entry-level package because it's typically the least expensive package you can get on dealer lots. And so if you're looking for kind of the biggest bargain, I guess, then that would be the Warlock package. Now, up from the Warlock, or kind of close to the Warlock, you'll have the Tradesman. I'm not really gonna be talking about that too much in today's video. That's just your basic work truck. And the reason I'm not going to talk about that too much is it's about the same price as a Warlock, so your payments are going to be pretty similar. Now, up from that, we have the Bighorn, which is kind of like your entry-level package into the Ram brand above a basic work truck. And this is a very popular package because you still have the work truck capabilities, but then you have nicer seats, a little bit more creature comforts. You can get heated seats with it, for example, and so it's just kind of a nicer truck overall, and it's really like your entry-level truck into the brand that's not a work truck. Now, up from that, we have the Laramie package, which is what I call the entry-level luxury truck, and this will give you nicer leather seats. You have heated and cooled seats with this package. You have LED lights on the exterior. You have a nicer sound system that comes standard with it, and so again, it just kind of gives you a bunch of luxury features, and it really is the entry-level luxury package, and it's the best value package if you want luxury because you can get all of the luxury amenities with the Laramie, but you're not paying an absorbent amount which you will pay for other packages we'll mention a little bit later. Now, above the Laramie, well, not really above the Laramie, I'd put it kind of like an offshoot aside from the Laramie, is the Rebel package. The Rebel package is just the off-road package, which actually you might technically put it below the Laramie because you cannot get air-conditioned seats in the Rebel, so it's kind of more like a Bighorn in terms of the luxury features you can get, but again, that's just like your off-road package. Now, above all of that, we have the Longhorn package, which is your Western themed luxury truck. So think of top of the line luxury, but then Western theme. So you get kind of the more, again, Western themed interior. So like usually brown interior with most of them. They do have a couple different colors you can kind of switch through with the interior, but just think brown interior with brown wood trim, and you get all of the premium, well, not all of them, but a lot of the premium luxury features as standard, but you don't get as many as the next package, which is the Limited. The Limited is the top of the line luxury package. Pretty much everything is standard equipment with this truck. There are a few options you can add to it, but it has the most premium interior, the most standard equipment, the nicest exterior in terms of options and everything, and so that's just your top of the line. And again, you can get a lot of the same features in the Laramie, but you have to add them as options, whereas they're standard on the Limited, and the Laramie is going to be a little bit cheaper, so just kind of a little bit different with all of those packages. So I've got some notes here on my phone. I will be including a screenshot of this at the end of the video so you guys can kind of read through everything with me. But basically, I had to make some assumptions to get these payments for you guys. First thing I assumed was interest rate and credit. I kind of just put things at what I would suspect would be average right now with the market. So interest rates are really low. So I assumed a 4% interest rate, which some of you might be able to get lower than that. For example, on my loans, I have a 2.99% interest rate, but I've seen even lower than that. I've seen some manufacturers offer like 0% interest, and I've seen some of them offer 0.9%, which is one that I saw recently. So what you want to do is kind of just be honest with yourself from a credit perspective. If your credit's really good, then these payments I'm offering probably going to be lower than that. If your credit's really bad, then the payments might be higher because you get a higher interest rate. But this is assuming a 4% interest rate, which again, I feel like is a good middle point for everything. And then the other assumption I made was on the fees associated with the vehicle. So I know that some people watching this video will live in a state where you have no taxes, whereas other people, you might have a really high tax rate and high fees. So basically what I assumed was 10% in terms of the fees and taxes and everything. So I just tacked on 10% to the selling price of all of these vehicles. And that's basically how I got to the amount that I finished at, which would then give us the payments. Now, there was a couple other assumptions that I had to make, and the first off was the term. So I based the first payment off of an 84-month term and the second payment off of a 60-month term. And then the selling prices of the vehicles, I basically just looked at these vehicles for sale, found the average MSRP, found the average selling price, and so everything's based off that. So again, 4% interest rate, we're assuming 10% in fees, we're assuming a 84-month term and a 60-month term for the two different payment options, no money out of pocket, and then average MSRP and then average selling price for all the vehicles, so that this isn't too crazy or confusing for you guys, so you kind of know all the stuff that went into this. With all that being said, starting with the Warlock, found an average of a $43,000 MSRP and a $39,000 selling price. And the other thing I need to mention, this is based off of the current market. So I'm filming this in May of 2021. So if you're watching this a long time from now, then this information might not be completely accurate. With the payments being $588, again, that would be the 84-month term, up to $792 a month for a shorter term like 60 months. Next one, Bighorn, $52,000 MSRP, $47,000 selling price is what I found on average. So that would put you at $711 a month to $958 a month. And then Laramie, $56,000 MSRP is what I found on average with a $53,000 selling price. So that would put you at $779 to $1,050 a month. Rebel, $59,000 MSRP with a $56,000 selling price. Monthly payments $834 a month to $1123 a month. And then Longhorn, this is where things get pretty crazy. Well, I mean, they're already pretty high, but Longhorn, $68,000 MSRP and then $64,000 selling price, $957 a month to $1289 a month. And then finally Limited, $70,000 MSRP and $66,000 selling price with a starting payment of $1,039 a month, and then on the higher end, $1,400 a month, which is pretty much a mortgage at that point. So I know that some of you are going to be pretty shocked at this point because of how high some of those payments were. You've got to understand a couple things. So first off, I was assuming no money down. A lot of people nowadays have trade-ins, and if you have positive equity in your trade-in, meaning that your payoff is less than what the value of the vehicle is, then that would be money down, which would lower down the overall payment because you're going to basically take care of some of the fees and costs and everything associated with the vehicle, and possibly buy down some of the vehicle itself. So obviously take that into account if you do plan on trading something in, then that can change things quite, well, it will change things quite a bit, because a lot of states also offer something called tax credit where you don't pay full taxes on the new vehicle. And so where I'm assuming 10% in fees, if you're trading in a vehicle, you might pay next to nothing in fees because you have so much tax credit that it offsets most of the fees, which taxes typically are the highest fee. Or again, if you live in one of those states like Montana where you have no vehicle tax, then again, that puts you in a completely different situation where the fee percentage is going to be a lot less. I mean, for example, with Montana, if you had no vehicle tax, then, I mean, literally, depending on the vehicle you buy, you might be less than like 1% in terms of overall fees, which, yeah, very, very low. That would be awesome. Obviously, I don't live in Montana, but that would be awesome to go for. So yeah, again, it was making a bunch of assumptions, and I feel like this is a good starting place because this is starting at the high end of things. Again, this is assuming the highest, well, not the highest possible, because there are certain places that have really high tax rates like California, but this is assuming a higher percentage of fees at a relatively high interest rate, kind of in the middle interest rate wise, and then no money down, no trade-in, no tax credit, no nothing. This is assuming that you're just coming in and you're trying to finance the entirety of a truck. So obviously the payment is going to be higher. That being said, again, if you want to lower the payment, money down will lower the payment. If you improve your credit so that you get a better interest rate, that will also lower the payment. If you have a trade-in and your state does allow for tax credit, that will lower your overall fees, which will then lower your payment. So there's a lot of things that you can kind of do to actually buy down that payment. Now, I did say that I would also talk about heavy-duty trucks. And if you guys were paying attention, then you notice that a lot of those price ranges I talked about kind of encompass most of the heavy-duty trucks on the market, because at your starting price point, some heavy duties are just under $40,000. And then most of them will go up to like that $70,000 range that we ended with the Limited. And so most of those payments would actually cover you if you're looking at a heavy-duty truck. Now, I understand at the top line, if you're looking at like a 3500 and you're looking at a Laramie, Longhorn, or Limited, sometimes they will be way above that $70,000 range. Like, for example, when I worked at the dealership, I sold a Limited that I think was like $90,000 in terms of the sticker price, so quite a bit more. And kind of a quick rule of thumb of what you can do if you just want to very, very quickly estimate a payment is you can say that about every $5,000 that you finance is going to be anywhere from about $80 to $120 a month, depending on how much money you put down, how many fees you have, and then where your credit is at. And so then if we took that $90,000 Limited, then we can assume it on the high side of things is probably going to be about $1,800 a month, and on the lower side of things is probably going to be roughly about $1,1500 a month, again depending on credit and term and all that kind of stuff. And that's assuming no money down. If you put money down, then you can buy that down. For example, with my Ram TRX, I put a large amount of money down, and I can make a video about that if you guys want me to. But I mean, my truck's stickered for like $95,000 and my payment is like $900 a month, which again, if we just do the simple math we did, my payment's half as much as what it should be. And a part of that is lower interest rate, money down, tax credit, all the stuff that I basically talked about in today's video. Now that's pretty much going to sum things up for today's video. And again, at this point, I'll include the screenshot of like the payments. I have my phone super simplified. Like, it's nothing fancy. My notes are like really, really kind of dumbed down is the best way for me to put it. But as always, if you're stopping for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. And then if you feel like I have helped you out with my videos in particular, then I do have a link to my Patreon in the description below. I'd really appreciate your support on that front as well. And yeah, I'll see all of you guys in the next video.